This is the Hard Thing Podcast. Today, we are overcoming average. Welcome back to another episode of the Hard Thing Podcast. This is The Forge, where Ty, your co-host, and Justin, your co-host, I'm Justin, he's Ty. Say hello, Ty.
Hi.
We put ourselves under the heat and pressure of doing hard things, all to make ourselves stronger.
The hardest things, guys.
The hardest things, and to be better people. So what we do during these episodes, we do the action items given to us by our Monday show guests, and we give each other challenges, and we report on those challenges. So let's start off with 2 weeks challenge for me, right? Ty, do you remember what that challenge was? Because I do.
Tell us, Justin.
It was to do 1 hour of volunteer service.
1 hour volunteer service.
Check mark. I did that. And
whoa, you did.
I did. Even though it doesn't sound super hard, it's kind of an interesting story. So I took the first week of the challenge and didn't do anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then this last Monday.
Typical.
So last week on Monday, I started researching different ways to do volunteer service. And by the way, if there's anyone out there that's looking for a business idea, here's a free one. Create an app where you create a profile on the app, and that allows you to do walk-in volunteer service at very many different places, because at all the volunteer opportunities I looked up, you have to create a full profile for that specific organization and basically give a long-term commitment of multiple hours of service, weekly. And that wasn't what I was looking
interesting.
for. Right. I eventually called the DI, the Deseret Industries, which is kind of like a thrift store thing we have here in Utah. Luckily, they have walk-in volunteering.
It's like a Goodwill.
Yeah.
People donate their stuff and then
Yeah.
you just sell it for cheap.
So my plan was to do that on Saturday, right? Friday night comes along, and basically my wife, she's a photographer. She booked 3 different photo shoots, and kind of as an opportunity to really just spend time with her. I ended up going with her to those 3. So the first one was planned at 8 o'clock in the morning, and it was an hour away. So we had to get up at 7 o'clock, and it's snowing, right? So we're on our way, and my wife just says, let's turn around because the roads are too bad. So we turn around. The client ends up coming to pick her up, right? So she goes on that photo shoot alone. And here I'm thinking crap, I don't have any opportunity to do service. And then randomly, in our neighborhood, there's the opportunity to go help this lady move, right?
Oh, cool.
And usually I don't do that kind of thing anymore because I'm kind of shy. I'm kind of an introvert. But I was I just watched Yes Man last night. I watched Yes Man on Friday night. And by the way, I highly recommend that movie for anyone who needs some motivation because, honestly, it's a good idea. And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, I can't just, I have this challenge. I got to say yes. So I go move. And it was awesome because I was able to meet someone who had moved into the ward recently, or the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Who speaks Italian. He's from Italy, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And Justin speaks Italian,
and
guys.
I speak Italian. So it was this cool
Don't you have a minor in Italian, too?
Yeah. I have a certificate, a speaking certificate.
Oh.
But anyways, it was this awesome opportunity for me just to meet this random person in the neighborhood who speaks Italian, kind of start a mini friendship there, where otherwise that wouldn't have happened, especially because now with COVID-19, there's no neighborhood gatherings or whatnot.
Right.
It was just a simple reminder to me that when you take opportunities like that, especially when it's 4th and 10 Saturday, if I didn't do that, I wouldn't have had an opportunity to fulfill this challenge.
Mm-hmm.
But I said yes, I fulfilled the challenge, I got to help someone, and also I had a really cool experience. So I would just recommend to each of you, even when you think you can't do the challenge, but an opportunity comes up, just say yes and do it, okay?
Heck yeah, love it.
So
cool. So Justin accomplished his challenge.
Yes.
And yeah, that's awesome.
Cool.
That was a good one.
Let's talk about. Do you have something to say, Ty?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Let's talk about the action items given to us.
Right. So I do have something to say then.
Go ahead.
Before we move on to the next segment.
Boom.
Guys, if you want to support this podcast, Justin and I would appreciate it a ton. And the best way to do that is to
First, subscribe so you never miss an episode.
Right. To subscribe.
Second, share the podcast with someone you know. Think of someone who would love this podcast.
Seriously, share it. Sharing is probably the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you can subscribe and everything, and that's easy, right? But sharing it is going to help us probably the most. Now another way to support us is to go to our Patreon page.
Yes. Actually, instead of the Patreon, since it's
Okay, we're
almost
switching
Christmas,
things up.
I would say go
Okay.
to thehardthingpodcast.com/shop, because over this last week I added a few new products to that page. So you can actually get face masks, stickers, hats, beanies, a coat, shirt, a backpack, and I think another shirt. And I'm probably going to add way more.
Go to our merch store.
Yeah.
Get some merch.
Yeah, for that nice person.
You
in your
get cool
life.
stuff.
Yeah.
We get support.
Honestly.
And
go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was just going to say, by supporting this podcast, what you're doing is you're allowing us to reach out to bigger and better guests, giving you better content, more tools, so you can improve your life.
It also gives Justin and I more opportunity to do harder things, because right now we're kind of limited to like what we can do. For example, one thing that I think would be really cool. So what's like when you think of like the hardest things that people do, what is one of them? What's like I want to see if you're kind of thinking the same.
Like basic training in the military.
Right, military stuff. Okay,
Yeah.
so like SEAL training.
Yeah, dude.
Wouldn't that be cool to like kind of go and do some SEAL training? Like obviously we'd have
I'd need to work up to that.
We need to work up to it. But but like if we had money to like just fly down to a beach and do that.
do
I
some
mean, to be honest, we could just do
crud.
we could do the Utah Lake Beach right
which
down
one?
here.
Oh, Utah Lake Beach.
Just right here.
Yeah. By the way,
or anywhere.
it
really.
might be frozen because Tipple Fork is frozen now.
Oh, so I can't even do the polar plunge thing.
Well, what we could do is
Bring a hammer.
just like get some cold water and fill up a kiddie pool in the middle of a snowstorm.
I don't know about that one.
Anyways, we'll figure that out.
Yeah, but-
you'll figure that out.
But anyway, so yeah, so like, anyway, we want to do harder things because like we know that like doing service, it's hard. I mean, it can be hard because like you have to go out of your way to find time to do the service and everything, especially when you have a job and you have all these things that you want to accomplish. But like, if we had more support, we could actually start going and doing some really good stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that would be good for people just to see, and it'd be good for us.
Yeah.
So, you know.
So if you want better content, better resources for us and yourself, please support the show. Now, let's talk about the action items. So this last week, I had Frank King on the show. He is the mental health comedian. He's a comedian that talks about suicide prevention. So that was a fun conversation. And the action items he gave us was to pick a niche, never pass up an opportunity to go to the bathroom, take a nap, or charge your phone, and follow your gift.
That second one is interesting. I'm
Pretty specific.
very curious what your thoughts are since you're the one that had the conversation with him.
Well, we'll start with number 2 while you're writing.
Okay.
Frank is a comedian, right? He's a funny guy. And we made jokes, and he joked about the Hard Thing podcast being called the Hard Thing podcast because he's a comedian, and obviously it was funny.
That's
but,
hilarious.
I think his advice here is you can kind of take it in two ways. One, obviously, in the literal way, you should never pass up on an opportunity to go pee, or to the bathroom, I guess. It doesn't have to just be pee, but to take a nap or to charge your phone, because you never know when you might need it.
I guess.
Well, like, especially now with winter coming on, like, it's a good advice. But I think the spirit behind that advice is to be prepared. You know, practice emergency preparedness and opportunity preparedness. And I think that's what he's trying to say there.
Taking the opportunities in front of you.
Well, yeah.
Kind of goes along with what you were talking about, the yes man.
Yeah.
Or the saying, what is it called?
Yes, Man. The movie.
Oh, that's what it's called?
Yeah. Yes, Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's essentially what he's saying. And actually, along those lines, taking opportunities. Today I had a conversation with an awesome guest. He's going to come on the show in a bit. His name's Terry Rich. Just a little teaser for you. But he said most of his success came because he was willing to volunteer for things at his job that other people weren't. So
that's actually 100%. Yes. I agree with that because when you and I did our podcast forever ago,
way back in the beginning of time,
that's like pretty much that's what I was doing, right?
Yeah.
Like I was just saying the attitude of yes.
Yes.
Like I think that that's so important. Like people come to you and you're like, man, I don't even know how to do that.
Yeah.
But then you say yes. And basically what you're doing is you're teaching people around you that you're resourceful, that you're going to get the job done.
Yeah.
And that means more and more people come to you because they can trust you.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then you become more valuable. And if
Yeah.
you are valuable, then you increase the amount of money that you're probably going to end up making in the long run.
Agreed. Have you ever heard the term, and I'm pretty sure you have, up a creek without a paddle?
No. Wait, what? Say that again.
If
Sorry.
you've never heard the term,
Yes, I have.
up a creek without a paddle.
Sorry, I was writing and zoned out there. Okay.
Basically, you're in the boat, right?
Mhm.
You wish you had a paddle. You could change that to be you're somewhere. You wish your phone was charged. So you
I
could
see.
change this saying to be like never neglect an opportunity to put the paddle on the boat, right?
Okay, I see. Yeah.
I would also
Be
add-
prepared.
Yeah, kind of be prepared. I would also add, never miss an opportunity to give someone a hug or to tell someone you love them or tell someone thank you.
I love that one.
Yeah, I was just thinking like, how many times do you volunteer for things at work and you're like feeling good, and then when you get home and your wife is like, hey Justin, can you take Journey outside? And you're like, come on, I've been working all day. Like, what if you just said, yeah, I'd love to do that?
Yeah.
You know, like how?
It's the attitude of yes.
Yeah, it is.
I think it's so important.
Yeah.
And that's a good point. I like what you just said because my mindset was like attitude of yes at work, right? And then you come home and it's like, now I have the attitude of hell no.
Now I have the attitude of it's my life.
I'm gonna do what I want.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna take my shoes off and.
But
watch
you should
TV.
continue that attitude
Yeah.
into the home and wherever you go, really.
Right.
Just I don't know about you, but if you think about like anytime you're in like a hard situation, it's always the people that like have the good attitude. I remember one time, for example, like my football team back in like junior high, we lost a game.
Which year was this?
Like-
So I get context.
2008, so eighth grade.
No, eighth grade. Okay,
2009. I don't know, eighth grade.
eighth grade.
Anyway, and so we had to go to practice the next day, and we knew we were going to run a ton. We just
Yes.
knew it. Our coach was so angry, you know. And I remember one of the players, like we were running back and forth, and we were just so tired and dying,
Yeah.
and some people were complaining, and you know whatever. And there's this one person who just kept running back and forth, and he's just like screaming and clapping, and he's like, yeah, woo, just like having fun, you know.
Yeah.
And it just like brought up, at least for me, it brought up my spirit, like, yeah, I could do this too.
Yeah.
And so then I started screaming and doing that. So anyways, it just like having an attitude of yes, like a positive, like optimistic, like I'm going to do it. Like those are the people you want to be around. You don't want to be around the person that's complaining all the time.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that sucks about me. I complain a ton. Like sometimes to get my, what?
I'm writing down a challenge for next week.
Oh my gosh. What have I done? No, but like I remember one time I went camping and there was a person that didn't typically go camping in the group that I go. And I kept complaining, and the people around me were kind of like, they would like laugh at it. So in a way, like complaining was comedic
Yeah.
for me. But I noticed that person like kept looking at me like, oh my gosh, would you just quit complaining?
Yeah.
And then I realized like, oh, it's not actually that comedic. Like people might be laughing about it, but maybe they're laughing because it's like they feel like they have to. I don't know.
Yeah.
So anyways, I realized like I need to stop complaining. And yeah, it's kind of a habit now, or it became a habit, and it's hard to crack, man. That's for sure. Try not to
Remember,
complain.
the mantra is thank you.
The mantra is thank you.
Yeah. I'll
Thank
give
you.
you a podcast episode to listen to.
Cool.
Okay, we talked about number 2 a bunch. Let's talk about 1 and 3 briefly.
Yeah.
So
Pick a niche.
pick a niche.
What does
Pick a
that
niche.
mean, Justin?
That is honestly one I struggle with a ton.
Pick a niche.
I've been trying to figure out specifically how to make the podcast better, how to reach more people, how to engage people, how to get people doing things, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, they always say the riches are in the niches, right? That's where you connect with people the best. That's where you get people to take action the best. But the podcast, since it deals with hard things, it's like such a, you know, a vast topic because like childbirth is hard. We've all been born. Apparently that was hard for us because we cried, right?
I guess.
Well, I mean, you don't see me talking to people about being born, but that was something hard we all did. Open our eyes, take our first breath. If you didn't, you died, right? That was difficult.
Yeah.
Basically, the point is like, all of life is hard. Every day is hard.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of tough to pick a niche that's going to relate with a specific subset of people so you can actually help them. So honestly, this is one that I struggle with, and I'd be really interested to see what you think.
I mean, as for the podcast, I don't know that I have anything to say right now. I mean, we can definitely think about that, but
sure.
Pick a niche. I don't know. Like I get the idea of of what they're saying here, but I mean, you could interpret that in a million different ways.
Yeah.
Like, does that mean like business wise? Like, it could mean.
It was meaning
like
specifically
personally?
business wise, yeah.
Okay.
But that's what he was talking about.
Right. And I can apply it however I choose.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. And it's like, I don't know, pick a niche, like business wise, I guess.
Or career wise, or however you do it.
I don't know.
One thing I
Go
would add is, piggybacking off of number 3, because follow your gift and pick a niche, I think are both really related. Brandon Turner on Bigger Pockets, the podcast about real estate, he always says, find your superpower, right? Find the thing that you are uniquely gifted and qualified to do over and over and over again, and that people will pay you to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then outsource the rest, because you want people who are the best at doing something, doing that thing that they're best at. And so I think that's what it's really talking about, like in the life of Ty or in the life of Justin.
Mm-hmm.
What is going to bring the most value to the world and to Ty or Justin respectively at the same time, and do that, hammer in on that thing. Like for example, my brother-in-law showed me a video today because he's really into boxing, right? And he's teaching me some things about boxing. He shows me this video and he's like, this is exactly what you want to do. You see this boxer, obviously there's two. One boxer, he throws a right hook and it dazes his opponent. And then immediately, as he's dazed, the main boxer throws just flurries, like 3 or 4 right on his face, and the guy goes down. And that's a great example of when you see an opening, when you see an opportunity, you dig in hard. Same thing with jiu-jitsu. When you see weaknesses, you dig in. Flip that around. When you have strengths, you amplify your strengths. Art of war. Amplify your strengths, minimize your weaknesses, capitalize on the weaknesses of your opponent. So really, what it's saying here, I think, is find your strengths, what's going to give you the most value, what's going to give the world the most value, and capitalize on that, and then outsource everything else. That's what I think.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess I'm just like in an ambiguous place right now, where I feel like, I don't know, mentally I can't think about that.
For example, and this might be a very specific example. If you find it's more valuable to spend time with your family on Saturdays, maybe you hire a maid to clean your house, right?
Right.
If you find it's more valuable to teach your kids work ethic, maybe it's more valuable to fire that maid that you have and have your kids do it so they learn. Or maybe it's more valuable to have a maid and then you take your kids outside and make them do yard work and have, teach whatever, that's just a simple example. Or taking a car to the mechanic. If it's more valuable for you to fix it and learn how to do it, then do it. But if it's more valuable for you to do something else with your time and take the car to a mechanic and have them fix it, do that.
Yeah. Sounds kind of like having a hobby almost.
Kind of.
Like it could be.
Kind of.
Could be
I
something
guess
like
it's
that.
really just about priorities.
Yeah.
Optimizing priorities.
Cool. So what's number 3? Follow your gift?
Yes. I don't know. I talked about 1 and 3 at the same time because to me they sound really similar.
Huh.
Yeah. But I think here, think about what people compliment you on and just do more of that. So.
Interesting. And also, I mean, like for me, I guess I'm semi gifted at like music.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that, but then also I feel like I'm semi gifted. That's the problem. I'm never like 100%. But like I feel like I'm pretty gifted when it comes to coding cuz
Right.
like that was
Right.
one thing I taught myself to do for the most part.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I guess that's what I'm doing. I'm following my gift. And that could explain, you know, how my job has become something that I actually like really enjoy.
Yeah.
Because like at first I didn't want to do coding. Like when I became like, I was like 21, I just made the decision, like, I don't really want to code as a job because I love coding, but I don't want to have a job where I'm just like staring at a computer all day.
Yeah.
And then I started doing all these other jobs. You know, I was doing sales and I did like a technical position and then customer success type stuff. And really just got to the point where it's like, yeah, I actually don't like dealing with people, generally speaking, because like, I do like talking to people, but like a lot of the times customers are not always kind.
Yeah.
And not just that, but like they don't, like when you're dealing with a specific product or a specific thing, like you understand it very well.
Right.
And so when you try to explain it to somebody who doesn't use it all the time like you do, it's like, why aren't you understanding me?
Yeah.
It's because I'm not explaining well. And so maybe that's something that I do need to work on is like being able to explain something so that others can understand. But that being said, like I ended up moving towards coding and now I have a job doing it and I love it.
Yeah.
And there are times where I'm like coding and I'm like, whoa, wait, I'm getting paid for this. Cause like in the past I'd be coding for hours and hours and hours and then realize like, man, it's like 3 a.m. and I'm coding and like I had fun doing it, you know, it's like great. And I didn't care if I got paid. So now it's like, I'm getting paid to do that. Anyway. So yeah, following your gift. I think that's actually really important because you'll end up enjoying your life, your life a lot more. It'll be more fulfilled.
Definitely.
Maybe.
Definitely. So with that, we will pass on to
The next
last
segment.
portion.
Before we do that,
Some announcements. We're actually going to do all of our announcements now, so that way we can get the new challenge at the very end and end on a super high note. So, I want to invite you all to come with me on a journey. I'm just kidding, though. But really, though, I want you to take a journey in an audiobook. Stop laughing, Ty. Take a journey in an audiobook. A free audiobook, actually, from Audible. So you can get a free audiobook of over 180,000 titles in all sorts of genres at audibletrial.com/thehardthingpodcast. You get the audiobook for free, and then you start a free 30-day trial, which allows you to get other audiobooks at a discount. Currently, I'm kind of going through a Star Wars binge right now, but that's just me. I would highly recommend Star Wars, but they have a ton of really good personal development books, like, for example, The Power of Happiness. We've talked about that on the podcast before. I would highly recommend that as well as Grit. Grit's probably one of my favorite books from Angela Duckworth. Anyways, just go get your free audiobook today from audibletrial.com/thehardthingpodcast and start listening to an adventure in your ears.
and the benefit is you're supporting the Hard Thing Podcast.
That is a huge benefit. Also, I was just, as Ty was talking, it was kind of hard for me to not think about working out because I really like working out. Like, you know, when you start daydreaming.
Wait. So, like, first of all, you just spent the last, like, minute talking, and then you're like,
No.
So when Ty was talking, I was thinking about working out, guys.
No, not right now, but before.
Right, okay.
You were saying, like, certain things that, like, sparked in my mind working out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that, like, oftentimes when I work out, I don't have a ton of great supplements afterwards, but, you know, if you're like me, you can solve that problem really easily with a 10% discount from One Mission Nutrition. They are a wonderful supplement company, and one of the things that I like about them is they actually, with every purchase you buy, part of that money goes towards helping make a strength box to send towards troops overseas. So they can get swole, you can get swole, and the podcast can get swole. That's a really great win-win-win. So if you want to get a 10% discount today, go to allegiance.onemissionnutrition.com/thehardthingpodcast. Get your 10% discount on all your awesome supplements today. Go get swole. Next, I want to invite you to imagine yourself 5 years old, right? Young.
5 years
5 years
old. Super young.
Super young, right?
Super young.
The most important thing in your life is probably playing with your friends, right? imagine then one day you never see your family again. Sorry. Ty, why are you laughing? This is tragic. We're talking about sex slavery.
What the hell are you doing that?
What?
You need to tell me these things.
Sorry, this is Operation
We're going to edit this
Railroad.
out, man.
I'm not editing anything.
We got to.
No, dude. Okay, anyways.
I'll edit it
back
then
to my
before I
story.
send it to you.
So you never see your family again, okay? But instead, you are trafficked into slavery and you live this horrible life because someone stole you. Someone literally stole you. Well, that's exactly what we want to help you. We want you to help prevent and destroy the industry of sex trafficking. So we want to invite you to help Operation Underground Railroad. They're a nonprofit organization. They go undercover to rescue kids from sex trafficking. And actually, Ty and I are trying to raise $1,000 for them. $1,000 for Operation Underground Railroad. And if you're listening to this on the day that this podcast is released, it's actually my birthday. So as a nice birthday present to me, go to GoFundMe.com/overcoming-average, donate some money to our campaign to raise $1,000 for OUR. All the money goes straight towards them and help us raise money to rescue kids because these kids need to come home. And no one's going to bring them home except us. So help us raise some money for OUR today. All right, Ty, what are the action items for me?
Okay, you ready?
Yeah, let me write them down.
Yep. Number 1, write and publish a short story.
Okay, number 2.
Do a 10-minute horse stance.
Can you explain what that is?
So, depending on what type, we're gonna be looking at the I think it's the
like
northern Chinese
Northern water
horse
tribe?
stance. It's where your feet are about 2 shoulder widths apart, and your thighs are
So like
parallel to the ground.
Like this?
Yeah.
So it's like a deep shikodachi
Yeah.
crouch?
And you do it for 10 minutes.
Fetch.
Wow. So actually, so I looked this up on a website, and they were saying like slowly get up to about 5 minutes, and then I doubled that, of course, because it's the Hard Thing podcast.
Yeah.
So we're gonna say 10 minutes.
Dude, that's crazy. I wonder if I could do that.
And you build up to it, so that's why it's kind of like a 2 week.
You have to build up to it?
You don't have to, but like that's kind of the idea. You just do it for 10 minutes one time. That's pretty silly.
Why would that be silly?
I don't know.
If you could do it for 10 minutes, that seems pretty awesome.
Yeah, I guess so.
I kind of want to try just doing it without building up.
Okay, here's the third one. You ready?
Yes.
The Wingate test.
Is that like a... Okay, what is that?
It's a physical test. Tests athletes' cardio, I believe.
Like their VO2 max?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Apparently,
Can you look it up?
the athlete is allowed to bring a puke bucket
Oh, fetch.
because of how intense it gets. To be honest, I don't know. I just saw it and I thought that would be cool. Wingate test. Wingate test is a cycle test of anaerobic leg power conducted over 30 seconds. The test is also known as the Wingate anaerobic test and was developed at the Wingate Institute in Israel during the 1970s. The aim of this test is to measure the anaerobic power of the lower body. So the thing is that I don't understand. We might need to go. Wait, how long does the Wingate test last? 30 seconds? Okay, I must have missed something there.
You bring a puke bucket for 30 seconds?
Yeah.
Maybe it's like to get a specific meterage.
I think you turn it up like super, super high.
Oh,
Like the resistance, I mean,
okay.
on the stationary bike.
So it's like as heavy as you can go, as fast as you can go.
Yeah, for 30 seconds.
Shoot. And then for the publish short story, where is that going to be published?
Amazon.
Don't you need a cover though? Like a,
No. Unless you want to get a cover.
does the short story have to be good? Because I could do that, but also do previously written short stories count, or does it have to be completely new?
Previous ones count.
So like if I have one already done,
Yeah.
I could just like pop it in and be like, good
Yeah.
to go.
I'm cool with that.
Is there any lengthage?
I don't know. What's a short story? How long is a short story, Justin?
I don't know. Like, there are people who do, like, Twitter stories. Like, a short story in 140 characters. And then there are people who are like, here's a short story. And it's like 50 pages. You're like, what the? That's a tiny...
Let's do 25 pages.
That's a lot. That's a lot. Okay. Let's not do 25. Oh, shoot. This is a good one.
I mean, to be honest, you could do all three.
I'm not going to do the Wingate test.
Why not?
Because I don't understand it completely.
30 seconds of powering through a cycle.
On a bike?
On a stationary bike.
To be honest, that would mean I'd have to go to a gym to just complete a 30-second challenge.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's worth it for me. Like, I'd need something else to do at the gym. Also, we're going camping, so... And Christmas. I'm not going to a gym. I think I will.
I knew it.
Okay, how long does the story have to be?
20 pages.
I think I could make
10.
that happen. 10 pages.
10 pages.
15.
15 pages.
15 pages.
We're going to say 15 pages. Justin has to write a short story and publish it.
Is it double spaced?
No.
Okay, I don't like how... whatever. I'm going to write and publish a short story and then do a 10-minute horse stance.
Boom.
Both of
He's
those.
doing two.
Well, because the 10-minute horse stance is
It's literally 10
me
minutes.
10 minutes. So,
Obviously, if you can do it in 10 minutes.
yeah. Thank you guys for listening to the show. We want to wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah if you guys celebrate that. I don't know all the other holidays, but happy those for you. We will be back, let's see, next Thursday will be Christmas Eve, right? So maybe Ty and I will have a nice, fun Christmas Eve Hard Things Podcast edition. You guys will have to come back and see what we do. It's going to be funny, or maybe it's just going to be pathetic. But come back next week. Come back on Monday for an awesome Monday show. We're going to have an awesome guest. I think we're talking about finances and student debt. If you are in student debt, we're going to talk about how to get out of it. So, keep doing hard things, and you will overcome average. Real quick before we end the show, I just wanted to give you a quick announcement about a new opportunity you as listeners of the Hard Thing Podcast have available to you. Now, in thinking about all the action items I've ever gotten from guests, one of the things that they most often say to do is to find a team, a tribe, or a community that can help push you, help strengthen you and support you, and expect more out of you to help you reach higher levels. Well, that's exactly what we've come up with here at the Hard Thing Podcast for you. We've created The Forge. Now, you might know The Forge as the name of our Thursday show, and it is. But The Forge is also the community we built to help you band together with like-minded individuals that can help strengthen you, support you, and expect more out of you. When you join The Forge, what you'll get access to is weekly challenges exclusive to the community, which will help push you, help you grow, and help you connect with other people in the community. You'll also get access to special discounts on merchandise from the Hard Thing Podcast, so you can represent what you believe in and save some money. And also, you'll get access to live streamed episodes of our Monday shows and our Thursday shows, which means interactions with guests, as well as you'll be able to see some behind the scenes stuff on our Thursday show when we won't have the chance to edit that out because it's going out live. One of the most important things you'll get access to is the other people in the community. It'll show you people who are local to you, or it'll just connect you with people who think the same way you do. And that's essential for reaching newer levels and doing things that you didn't think were possible. So join The Forge today. Go to theforge.mn.co, band with your tribe, get all these special features, but most importantly, keep doing hard things.